All right, let's get right into it. Roof mount or ground mount? I mean, on the surface, it sounds like a pretty simple choice, right? But honestly, it's one of the most critical decisions you're going to make for your solar system. So we're going to break down the real engineering differences to figure out which one is actually better.
And you know, that really hits the nail on the head. So many people just get hung up on the obvious things, but this choice, wow, it goes so much deeper. We're talking about something that affects everything from your daily power output to whether your system is even still standing in 10 years.
So this is the story you'll hear pretty much everywhere, right? Roof mounts are cheaper and they save space. Ground mounts, better performance, easier to maintain. And look, that's not wrong, but it's only the surface level story. It's kind of like reading the book cover and thinking you know the whole plot. It completely misses the critical failure points.
Okay, part one, let's start with the one you see the most, roof mounts. And we're going to uncover some of the stuff that most people just completely overlook. Because the second you decide to put solar panels on your roof, you're not just adding panels. You're introducing a whole new set of risks into the equation.
So here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. Your roof is now being asked to do a job it was never ever designed for. Think about it. If the installer gets lazy and doesn't anchor directly into solid rafters, or if your roof structure is already a little weak, well, the load from those panels, especially when you add wind, can lead to a catastrophic failure. And we're not just talking about broken panels here. We are talking about serious damage to your entire home.
But hey, let's say the structural part is perfect. There's still this invisible enemy that's at work every single sunny day. And that enemy is heat. See, panels on a roof sit so close to the shingles, and they trap all this hot air underneath with basically nowhere for it to go. And this is a massive, massive problem for performance.
And this right here, this is the fundamental physics of it all. It's so simple, but so critical. All solar panels, I don't care which brand, they all lose efficiency as they get hotter. What happens is their voltage drops. And since power is just voltage times current, well, when your voltage takes a nosedive, your total power output goes right down with it. Simple as that.
And just look at these numbers. This isn't a small difference. We're talking about roof panels running 10 to 25 degrees Celsius hotter than the exact same panel mounted on the ground. That's a huge performance penalty that you are paying every single sunny day.
So how do we know exactly how bad the loss is? Well, it's all thanks to this thing called the temperature coefficient. You can find it on the spec sheet for any panel. It's basically just a number that tells you precisely how much voltage you're going to lose for every single degree the temperature climbs. And when you have all that trapped heat, this number becomes your absolute worst enemy.
So let's just recap the risks for roof mounts. You're potentially dealing with leaks from every single hole they drill. You've got the risk of literally overloading your roof structure. You have a constant guaranteed power loss from heat. And on top of all that, just doing any kind of maintenance up there is both difficult and, frankly, pretty dangerous.
All right, so now let's pivot and look at ground mounts. They sound like the perfect solution, right? They solve some of the biggest problems with roof systems, but, and there's always a but, they introduce a completely different set of challenges that are just as serious if you ignore them. Okay, the number one biggest advantage of a ground mount is airflow. It's that simple. You have air circulating freely on all sides, keeping those panels way cooler. And what did we just learn? Cooler panels mean higher voltage, and higher voltage means, you got it, significantly more power. This is the single biggest reason they're almost always the superior choice when it comes to raw performance. But here it is. Here's the trade-off. Ground-mounted systems are usually placed a good distance away from the house, and that means you've got these really long DC cable runs. And over that distance, you run smack into a whole new efficiency killer, voltage drop. The best way to think about voltage drop is like water pressure in a really, really long garden hose. You know how the pressure's weaker at the far end? It's the same idea. The longer the wire, the more electrical friction or resistance it has. This friction literally causes you to lose a chunk of your power before it even makes it to your inverter. It's an unavoidable law of physics, but it's something that has to be managed with smart engineering. So for ground mounts, the risks just look different. You have to factor in that power loss from the long cables. They're also more exposed, so theft or vandalism is a real possibility. The need for proper grounding against a lightning strike becomes way more critical. And of course, you have to make sure the foundation itself is stable and won't be affected by flooding or shifting soil. Which brings us right back to where we started. The big question. We've got heat loss on the roof versus cable loss on the ground. We have structural risks versus lightning risks. So what's the final verdict? Which one is actually better? And here it is. This is probably the single most important thing to take away from all of this. The whole debate it isn't really about roof versus ground. It's about good engineering versus bad engineering. A top-notch, high-quality installation will always outperform a sloppy one, and it honestly doesn't matter where the panels are located.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do you actually make sure you have one of those high-quality installations? Well, it all boils down to a pretty simple checklist of things that are absolutely non-negotiable for any solar project.
First, whether it's on the roof or the ground, the anchoring has to be rock solid, no shortcuts. If it is on a roof, every single hole has to be perfectly sealed. The cables, they've got to be sized correctly for the distance to fight that voltage drop we talked about. The entire system needs robust grounding and lightning protection. And finally, you have to make sure there's enough space for air to flow and keep those panels cool. Seriously, get these 5 things right and you are 90% of the way to a great system.
And you really have to get them right, because the stakes here are just incredibly high. A poorly sealed bolt isn't just a small mistake. In 2 years, it's a major roof leak that's destroying your attic. Undersized cables don't just lose a little power. They can overheat and become a legitimate fire hazard. You have to remember, in solar, there are no small mistakes. They all grow up to be big problems.
So when you strip it all away, the choice really comes down to this. Which problem are you better equipped to solve? Because every system is going to have some kind of loss. The real question you should be asking is, which type of loss can you design for and manage the best? Is it that daily unavoidable power suck from heat on a hot roof? Or is it the perfectly calculable voltage drop over a long cable run on the ground? That is the engineering choice that truly matters.